Hey, I'm Ayuma Michelle, and welcome to Let's with Ayuma. This is an online safe space that I started to empower progressive women from all around the world to thrive with purpose. So, welcome again. Before we go any far, just know that it really does help when you ladies and you guys really subscribe to my channel. It really goes a long way, to actually making sure that as many people as possible actually know about this. But also, if you genuinely have watched any video, or if any of these topics that I'm talking about straight from the title excite you, please go ahead and subscribe, and then ensure that you are always up to date with the content that I share. Thank you once again for helping me reach 100 subscribers. It really does mean a lot. It means that you ladies are appreciating the content that I'm putting out. And thank you so much for all of the encouraging messages that have been coming through, personal stories, just cheering. It really does mean a lot. So thank you, and keep those messages coming. It really does go a long way, especially in my personal life. So thank you. It really is encouraging. Okay. So today we are going to talk about what's holding you back. What is holding you back? The reason why I thought about this topic is, once again, the topics that I normally come up with are the ones that are arising from my women networks. I'm part of a couple of women networks due to the nature of my work, but also just because of my passion. And, there's a question that normally comes up, whether it's through personal messages, DMs, or just actual interactions. There are many women who've asked me where I get my energy and my drive despite all that's happening all around the world. First of all, I'd just like to let you know that I am not perfect. I'm actually really doing the best that I can, to navigate this situation. Realize that no one has gone through COVID-19 before. And right now, there are so many things that are coming up all together. So we literally find ourselves in a very unique position as the human race, where we have to figure things out step by step, day by day, minute by minute, literally figuring it out for the first time, from the greatest to the most humble in societies. So just know that I am also going through this. I have good days, I have bad days, but there are specific things that I actually do, specific things and specific disciplines that I've actually applied in my life that are actually keeping me productive, that are keeping my mind sharp, and that are keeping me motivated and encouraged to keep doing my work and to keep showing up as the best version of myself. Okay, and so I'm going to share them with you. So grab a pen and paper and actually write them down, and do not confuse this as they are the one fits all kind of like strategies. These are just strategies that have personally worked for me. Like I like to share, I'm really type A with my work, and especially as a creative during this time, I need to be on my A game. I need to protect my mind, my creativity. So these are the actual strategies I'm applying. But if there's strategies that work for you and they're not necessarily what I share, it doesn't have to be the same. Keep on doing what works for you, because that's important, as long as you found something that works for you. Okay, so number one, I cannot emphasize how important this is. Take charge of your mind. I'll repeat, take charge of your mind. Not many people realize this, but as soon as you turned 18, the world no longer owed you an apology for what's happened in your life. The only people who have no control necessarily with their lives and their decisions and choices are like children, people who are under guardianship and stuff like that. And especially in today's world, I think it's even way under 18. Children nowadays are quite sharp, especially teenagers, right? And I've learned this by being a youth mentor for a couple of years. Once you turn 18, the world owes you no apologies. Therefore, it means whatever you've been doing, if you do more of that, you'll keep getting more of that. It means that the choices that you've made are a result of the values that you've held. The way your life is right now It's a direct effect of the choices that you've made in your life and the values that you've held. And so this also includes your mind, your mindset, your attitude. I'll talk about choices later on, but this part is very, very important. So many things are happening all around the world, but it is up to you to choose to be limited by them or motivated by them. There are people who are able to turn their stars into scars. Their scars into stars. There are people who are able to turn the dirt that happens into their lives into manure. So you need to get to a point where you decide that I am going to take charge of my mind, and I'm not going to allow things around me or other things to sort of like hold your mind hostage. Your mind is so powerful. As I said in my before videos, your mind is the greatest partner that can help you navigate this time and navigate your life. If you do not power your mind, empower it and take charge of it, not your mind leading you, but you leading your mind, there's something that's not going to be okay. And this is how it looks like. Just ask yourself, on a day-to-day basis, just during the day, where does your mind normally wander off to? And this looks like two things. What do you constantly think? Just start evaluating your mind, your mindset, and your mind and your thoughts. With regards to the thoughts that normally come through, what are you running to? That's number one. Or what are you running from? This is a powerful tool that I actually learned. What are you running from, or what are you running to? This is because there are some things, some skills, some things that we do on our daily lives that are literally programmed. You don't even need to think about it. You just do it with your hands. You just do. These are things that you've already programmed yourself to do, even without thinking. But then remember, there's a place where your mind naturally goes to during the day. Do you daydream? And even when you're daydreaming, where does your mind actually go to? Put your finger on actually whether you're running away from something or whether you're running to something. Until you take charge of those thoughts and figure out what your mind is already telling you, you won't really know how to put the strategies that can empower you to push you forward, right? So there's also other things like excuses. I tell you, for me to run my business, I could have come up with all manner of excuses. Oh, the economy is going bad. Oh, the global economy is really doing not so well. Oh, the Kenyan economy in my country. Oh, it was already failing. Oh, COVID-19. Oh, I don't know. I could have used any single excuse to block me from moving forward. Excuses are not good. And as a coach, one thing that people normally get shocked when I start working with them is that I literally do not have ears for excuses. I normally call my clients out and I tell them, no, that sounds like an excuse. If you really want us to get the results that you need, you need to put aside those excuses. And I am not committed to your excuses. I am committed to you pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So yeah, just ask yourself, what excuses have you been making? The other thing about taking charge of your mind is, what have you been feeding your mind with? This is the thing. Maybe this is a very devastating time, and you need to have a positive, abundant, creative, I can do this no matter what mindset. But, your media is sometimes passive and sometimes active. So what have you been feeding your mind with exactly, especially with regards to media? What kind of songs have you been listening to? What kind of movies have you been watching? What kind of books have you been reading? Because trust you me, if you keep watching the news like every single time 24/7, trust you me, you're not going to feel positive to do anything. You're not going to be feeling encouraged or motivated to do anything. Whatever you watch directly influences how you think. So have you been thinking about creative and empowering things, or have you been feeding your mind with like depressive, sad, I don't know, world is ending kind of things? Because literally whatever you feed your mind with, therefore out of its abundance it starts navigating and shifting your thinking patterns. It's literally you're training your mind how to think. So just think, there's a direct correlation between the media that you consume and also how you think, your attitude, your state of mind. And the last one is very important: imposter syndrome. This is the thing. So many people around the world have accepted. I even see it in the news. I even see it in the business streets. I see it everywhere. People have accepted the narrative of, oh my gosh, this is such a bad time. These are tough times. These are very strange times. But guess what? Maybe to you, this is actually a very exciting time. Maybe to you, maybe because you're online, there are things that are just coming very easy to you. And because things are coming very easy to you, you might start feeling like an imposter to yourself. You're like, why am I feeling like things are easier for me at work than what the news and what the business environment is telling me? Why am I feeling so encouraged and motivated when other people are feeling depressed? Why am I feeling like my best days are ahead of me despite other people saying that this is the worst time, they don't know what is going to happen? Imposter syndrome is the thing that comes to attack the magic that's within you. It makes you start feeling guilty for the good stuff that's actually happening in your life. You end up feeling as though you're sitting on somebody else's seat of grace, seat of good stuff, seat of blessings. That it's the thing that's making you feel uncomfortable with your own success, with your own blessings, with your own flow in life. But you don't have to. I got this beautiful, I've literally been stalking this woman called Melody Hobson. She's one of the most powerful women in America, especially with regards to finance. She was one of the most powerful CEOs in the US. And so I've really been following her a lot just to, get to learn from her. And, that's the kind of media that I've been feeding myself with, because I am like, this woman understands money. She understands investment. And as an investor, she's literally thinking that when things are bad, that's the time when things are exciting. So I literally am empowered by her mindset. And so and she's really key on this thing for imposter syndrome. And I'll share with you something that she said. Anytime you are dealing with this imposter syndrome, know that your confidence will be strengthened by your knowledge. I'll repeat that. Your confidence will be strengthened by your knowledge, because you can never feel like an imposter when you've done the work. And that's what I have been empowering myself with. Anytime I go and, let's say, market my services, especially during this time, because my business is still afloat, my lights are still on, and I'm still serving some amazing clients. Anytime I feel the imposter syndrome is knocking on my door, I keep reminding myself that, hey, my confidence will be strengthened by my knowledge. My knowledge is I prepared myself for such a time. I prepared my business for such a time to be future ready, to be tech ready, to be online ready. I did the work. And that's why I'm experiencing this ease. It does not mean that I should feel bad about being in this position, but I did the work. And because I did the work, I should actually not punish myself for preparing myself to flow during such a season and to thrive during such a season, right? So remember, your confidence will be strengthened by your knowledge, and you can't feel like an imposter when you have done the work. And ask yourself that same thing in other areas of your life. When marriages are failing, you have done the work in your marriage. Don't feel bad about it. When other people's maybe health and stuff like that are failing, remember that you have also done the work to make sure that your health is on point. Don't feel like an imposter in your own life when you've done the good work. Enjoy it. And then the second thing is focus. Especially during this time, and I'll talk about it especially from a business perspective, right? As soon as, COVID hit various countries and stuff like that, especially like my country in Kenya, people are very entrepreneurial. Like, you can even have a day job where you're employed in a certain organization, but then you will literally have 2 or 3 jobs on the side hustles. And it's just, we just have this great passion of the do attitude, they can do attitude. We have this very strong entrepreneurial attitude. I like to say like Nairobians or Kenyans are like New Yorkers. You know, we have this can do attitude and drive, you know, and we're not afraid to talk about money and pursue money, which is actually a very good trait, which many people normally think is bad, but for me, I think it's good. You need to want and to be okay with money for you to be able to pursue it and enjoy it and have it. You remember the imposter thing? You can't pursue money while feeling like an imposter. You need to actually like it. You need to actually plan for it. Things happen when you plan for them, right? So the thing with Kenyans is that when the business environment, was facing this challenge of COVID-19, so many people started doing sanitizer, and other people started doing masks and all manner of things. Yet their business model was a particular thing before, and they didn't give themselves enough time to really sit down, observe the economy, even consult with economists and ask themselves where are the opportunities. So what this ended up being is that people are doing all manner of things. You can find somebody who's selling hand sanitizer, masks, maize, and rice, and possibly is even, breeds dogs. There are so many things that sometimes you can be doing, but guess what? Energy grows where energy goes. And if you're putting your energy in 100 things, guess what? If you put 100% of your energy in 100 things, that means you're only giving those 100 things 1% of each. But guess what? If you give your 100% maybe to 2 things, you're giving 50 to this or 50 to that. But especially in this season where economists are saying take your time to monitor what is actually happening, I would actually say this is another piece of advice that I actually learned from Melody Hobson. Focus on doing what you love, which many people are afraid of because we've been trained to think about money to sustain ourselves as career. It doesn't have to be so. Focus on the thing, or focus on what you love. Focus on one thing. What is this one thing you'd like to explore, discover, learn about during this time? What is that one thing? And when you focus your energies on that one thing, you will start growing rapidly, learning rapidly, experimenting rapidly. You will fail. You will have permission to fail forward rapidly. Imagine failing at 100 things at the same time. That's a lot. But if you fail at one thing, it's easy for you to convert it into a lesson. You will exactly see where the lessons are, therefore pushing you forward. It'll give you permission to even fail. I'm a creative. You need to give yourself permission to fail so that you learn from it, right? So remember, at some point, if you keep pursuing money, doing all manner of things or focusing on all manner of things, at some point, money will never be enough. Money will never be enough. But when you focus on what you love, it's the most sustainable thing you can ever do in this life. Somehow when you're passionate about something, there's this fuel, there's this strength, there's this courage, there's this drive that's naturally programmed in you that will push you to get stuff done. That's how I've managed to get stuff done, because I planted myself in a career that I love. I am doing what I love. Every morning when I wake up to do what I love. When I'm serving my clients, I go the extra mile because I love what I do. I respect my business. I do not do shady stuff. I do not partner with shady people because I respect my business, because this is what I love, man. This is what I love. You see, and that's how I keep motivated to do it, to get stuff done, to serve, to show up, even during such a season. So remember, focus on doing one thing and make sure that that one thing is something that you love. The third thing is, please check your situation. You might be in a place, I know I've just talked about passion, but you might be in a place where you're trying to thrive, but then but you're still in survival mode. Survival mode means you're still worrying about your electricity bills, about rent and stuff like that. Please start one to get the other. Sort out whatever needs to be sorted out on the survival phase before you get to the thrive phase. I know that I talk about thriving quite a lot, but when you need to put food on the table, it can be very challenging to start thinking freely and dreaming and stuff like that. But realize, do the stuff that needs to be done so that you can do what you want. You get what I mean? Do the stuff that needs to be done first, paying those bills, earning that money, keeping yourself safe and healthy, and your mind right and all of that. Focus, finish that stuff so that you can start doing what you want, what you desire. And sometimes when you focus on that stuff that needs to be done, that's why sometimes people normally take about 2 years before they leave employment, before they enter entrepreneurship, because you need to do the stuff that needs to be done. Save that money so that you have enough to keep going, to experiment with, to fail forward with as you're navigating entrepreneurship. Because entrepreneurship is not written on paper. It's not theoretical. That's why I personally prefer learning about entrepreneurship from actual entrepreneurs, not theoretical things or lectures or stuff like that. I know many people might have other opinions about this, but I personally prefer learning about entrepreneurship from actual entrepreneurs, people who have their skin in the game and people who've been there, because then they give you the practical advice, which is, my friend, before you jump ship and start exploring entrepreneurship and seeing how government or stuff does not work out the way things are on paper or those business books. No, things are completely different. So you need to sort out the stuff that needs to be done before you start focusing on what you want to do. The fourth thing I'll share is location. For a very long time, and if you go to my socials, I've been talking a lot about this. One of the best gifts I've learned about this particular global pandemic is that I am learning many people are so gifted, so skilled, and so knowledgeable, but they're positioned in the wrong places. Literally, they're positioned in the wrong places. So are you positioning yourself, your ideas, your skills in the right places? Are you positioning yourself in the right places? Because guess what? That idea you have may just be, this is an example I gave recently about the African film industry and Netflix. Netflix has done this amazing campaign recently about made in Africa. And I'm like, some filmmakers have shared how when they produced their films and it was marketed within the local cinemas, their films did less than fair, less than good. But as soon as it got, the film got distributed on Netflix, which I think touches on, is it 190 nationalities across the world? Please, I'll take a rain check on that. Maybe 190 or so, right? That this guy was literally impressed by the numbers because millions of people across the globe were consuming his film, and he never knew that it could literally translate into numbers, not only impact but also good money. So maybe sometimes the idea you have is placed in the wrong location. Are you targeting the wrong people? Are you targeting the wrong geographic location? Do you need to be online? Are you holding yourself back from the opportunities and the positioning that could literally transform whatever these gifts and skills and ideas and knowledge are that you are actually so passionate about in terms of serving the world? Realize that. And it's not just with business or with your ideas, it's even with relationships. Maybe whatever you're looking for is not even available locally. Maybe the mindset or the quality or the characters of the people that you desire to be legacy partners with are literally not in the kind of environment that you live in. Maybe your society, your community, your country. This is a time where we need to disrupt that whole thing of, I'm going to do things just local. No, it's reached a point where whatever is available local is open to the world. And that's the kind of thinking that I have right now. That's why over the 4 years that I have managed to serve more than 380 people across the globe. In fact, right now it's more than 400 people across the globe in 5 continents. I have managed to do this because I believe that as an African, whatever I have to offer, it is accessible and it is a global worthy idea. That's how I've managed to serve amazing, amazing people across the globe. I did not allow my mind or my that imposter syndrome to make me think that, oh, because I'm young or I'm a woman or I'm an African, I can't serve the world. I have served the world, 5 continents, more than 400 people. Those are my metrics. Those are the math. So what is your math, right? And then could it be the fifth one? Could it be that you haven't asked for help? Could it be that you haven't asked for help? And I totally get this because I'm also type A. Sometimes I just have my head buried doing the work and I forget that, oh, there's actually somebody who can help me with this, with this, with that. One thing in my business that has really helped me is the finances part. Oh my goodness. Like, when it comes to finances and looking at spreadsheets and stuff like that, it reached a point where I was like, I can't keep doing this at the same time. I can't be looking at spreadsheet one moment and then the next I am looking at Adobe Illustrator trying to create something or design something. I need help. And when I reached out to this amazing woman who's passionate about supporting women SMEs with finances, I am like, wow. I no longer, like, literally, I no longer worry about money. Anytime I work hard to make money, I know that it'll be well taken care of in terms of finances, because she even goes the extra mile and gives me advice on how I can save more, and really encourages me and teaches me along the process. Make sure whoever is helping you manage your money is also teaching you in the process and is using language you can understand. That's a huge tip that I also learned from Melody Hobson. So learn this. Are you asking for help with accountability and also with support? As I said, location. Sometimes the ideas you have scare some people around you. Sometimes the ideas, the innovations, the mindset you have scares the people around you. Maybe because they haven't done the work for themselves. So sometimes whatever you may be thinking about and talking about scares the people around you. And you might end up, going through stuff like sabotage and stuff like that, and that imposter syndrome. So start planting yourself in places where people are empowering you, encouraging you, speaking life to your dreams and to your goals and to your skills and stuff like that. But also, that is accountability. But also, do more together. I strongly believe in that. Do more together. Do more together. Reach out to the people who are good at what they do, who are around you, so that you can do more together, so that you can focus on the thing that you love. Being a coach comes with a whole couple of things, but I am trusting other people who are great at what they do to help me with those other things so that I can laser sharp focus on what I love. And that's how I've managed to become very, very productive. And you can look at my socials. My output has actually been on point, which is something that I'm really, really proud of, because I have literally conditioned my mind to focus on what I do love the most. And if there's anything that's taking away from that, I actually share the work and sometimes share the opportunities. Okay? The sixth thing is ensure that you have a safe space to dream. This could be physical, this could be emotional, this could even be spiritual. Do you have a safe space to dream? And this is why. And it's coupled with all of the things that I've shared above. Have you secured a physical, spiritual, emotional space to work? And sometimes financial space to actually focus on your dreams. Maybe whatever is holding you back might be because, and this is another serious lesson that I learned from Lisa Nichols. She's one of the amazing top transformational coaches in the world, and there are very few transformational coaches because your life needs to look like it. Your life literally needs to look like transformation, and her life is barely recognizable. And it's because Lisa grew up in a very financially vulnerable community in the US. And she said that there are some doors you can only go through by yourself. For you to be successful, there are some doors you can only go through alone. There are some roads you can only walk through alone. And when she was working on her success, there are people in her community who started hating on her because she's hanging out with white people. And it wasn't necessarily white people, but it's because she was hanging out with people who are talking about money, people who are talking about investing in themselves, people who are talking about opportunity. But in her family, she said that she grew up with her mother constantly telling her that in their family, like money runs from their pockets, that they have holes in their pockets. You see, those are things people around you are speaking over your life. So she got to us. She got to a place where she attended this conference 40 times, more than 40 times, until she could speak the way those people speak, until she could start feeling and believing what those people say, until she could start, she had the content within her, but she started living out the content. And at the end of those plus 40 times of attending the same conference, she was actually invited to be either one of the speakers or facilitators. You need to immerse yourself in safe spaces where you can dream, where you can think, where you can transform, where you can keep feeding and pouring into your soul and into your heart, so that that transformation starts to happen. But every time, for example, when you light a match and it keeps getting blown out, light a match, it keeps getting blown out, your dreams will never come to pass. And that's why you need to plant yourself in a spiritual environment, emotional environment, physical environment, where your dreams are actually ignited, where that flame is kept burning, and not constantly you feeling that like there's this fight of you're constantly igniting and blowing things off. So just know that like your dreams also need a safe space. And especially when you've decided to stand up for something, immediately something will come to try to oppose and attack. So ensure that you have a safe space to keep those dreams alive, right? You can't dream in the same space with fear or stress or chaos. You can't. And then the 7th point out of 8 is choices maketh your life. Choices maketh your life. Like back to the first point that I shared, one of the key things, like I know I've been giving so many examples from Melody Hobson, but it's because I've literally been learning so much from her, to a point where even the things I'm speaking to her, my life, are the things that I have seriously learned from her, and realized this is somebody with experience, with wisdom. She's literally worked at the same job from the moment since, I think she's the only Princeton graduate that has stayed in the same job for a very long time. And it's because she is so passionate. Right from the word go, she planted herself in something she's passionate about. So this is what she said her husband told her when she was feeling like she's burnt out and she can no longer live the life she used to live. Her husband told her that you have chosen the life you live. That the life you live, you have chosen. She has chosen to be excellent and successful, and therefore it comes with those long hours, it comes with those flights, it comes with those sacrifices. So realize that choices, the life you're living right now, it's directly out of your choices. No excuses. No excuses. You have the life you have chosen. You have the life you have chosen. You have the life you have chosen. Once you get that to your mind, you will realize that, oh my goodness, I am where I am right now in my life because of the choices I've made. Literally, the choices that you have made. No matter the traumatic stuff you've gone through, realize you've made choices that have influenced where you are right now. The world is not going to apologize. You will need to get your hands dirty and start building the life that you want to choose, that you want to keep choosing day after day after day. The sacrifice, the sweat, the work, etc. that comes with it, you have also chosen that. Not just the good stuff, but also the sacrifice. Remember Lisa Nichols? When she chose that she wanted to succeed, it also came with the sacrifice of leaving behind the family, the community that was telling her she couldn't. The people who'd subscribed to the notion and to the mindset that they couldn't for themselves, right? So realize choices maketh your life, and you have the life you have chosen. I think that's one of the most empowering adulting conversations, because you then realize, oh my gosh, the world is not going to send me an email or a letter of I'm so sorry about how things have been, but don't worry, we're working on it. No, you work on it. You realize that this life, no, this is not it. You start working on it and make your own magic. And the last one, patience. Have you been patient? Whatever is holding you back, is it because you lack patience? Realize that the things that you invest in, have a long-term mindset. Don't just have short-term. Have a long-term mindset. This decision and choice that I'm making right now, what does it look like 100 years to come in the lives of my children and children's children? This decision that I'm making in my business right now, what will it look like in 30 years to come? In business, visions are measured within 30 years plus. Great visions and powerful visions, you know? Please read up on Sony. Sony has an amazing vision, and literally whatever you know of Sony today was literally envisioned so many years back, which is crazy, but it is so powerful. That's something I learned from entrepreneurship school. So are you giving yourself time to let things come to fruition? Have you done all the amazing work, the preparation, the thinking, the planning? You have amazing accountability partners, all of this good stuff. But is the thing that's holding you back patience? Are you holding yourself back from just being patient? You know? And this is something that I know, especially for the younger generation, we struggle with. Many of us who are millennials, we really struggle with this. And it's because, you know, there's that instant thing. We were born in a very instant age where there's TV, microwaves, things that are instant coffee. But there was a time in the world where things weren't so instant, you know? But we need to get to a point where we start giving our dreams time to mature. We need to give our ideas time to mature. We need to let our relationships, give our relationships time to mature. We need to give our hearts time to mature and our minds time to mature. You know, those books that you've been reading, at some point, things will converge and work for your good. Things really will converge. All that investment in the finances, in the thoughts, in your health, in good relationships, in dreaming, actively dreaming with 1, 2, 3. These are the things I actually want in my life. Disciplining yourself. At some point, all of those things will converge and create a flow into your life. But the thing is, we don't know what that time is. Are you willing to give yourself that time? Right? So that's it. Those are the things I actually wanted to share. Please comment below. What do you think has really resonated? What is the thing that you've realized has been holding you back from thriving or thinking successfully during this time? Please comment below so that I can actually learn from you. Maybe there are things that I don't know that I can learn from. So please comment below. That's all for today. I hope that you found this to be empowering, enlightening, and challenging as well. And don't forget to like, comment, and to subscribe. This is Let's with Ayuma, where I'm empowering progressive women from all around the world to thrive with purpose. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.